Good morning and welcome to a regular meeting of a panel of utility commissioners and staff of the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority held today, Wednesday, October 13th at 10 a.m. by remote teleconference. My name is Chairman Marissa Gillette, and I'm joined virtually today by my colleagues, the Vice Chairman Jack Bukowski and Commissioner Michael Karen. Today we have a regular calendar and a consent calendar in front of us. We have two items for consideration on the regular calendar. The first is docket number 210507, the petition of Verity for a declaratory ruling regarding selection of shared clean energy facilities pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes, section 16244Z. I will be presenting the proposed declaratory ruling for the panel's consideration. Verity, or the petitioner, filed a petition for a declaratory ruling pursuant to the General Statutes of Connecticut, section 4176, after previous efforts to challenge the procurement process in the year one solicitation of the Shared Clean Energy Facility, or SCEF program, were unsuccessful. The petition, however, as discussed in today's ruling, does not meet the prerequisites of Connecticut General Statutes because it fails to identify a general statute, regulation, or final decision of which the authority might assess the applicability to Verity's particular circumstances. In addition, the petition is moot because the relief sought by Verity is not available. Consequently, the authority is unable to grant actable relief requested by Verity. So that is the summary of today's decision. I'll briefly reference the underlying material. The authority issued its final decision establishing the SCEF program in docket 190701 back in December of 2020. Subsequently, interested stakeholders worked in tandem with the electric distribution companies to begin the year one solicitation process. Verity filed a series of motions regarding the year one process, which the authority subsequently denied. On November 18th of 2020, Verity filed a motion for clarification and modification of the authority's ruling, requesting that the authority apply its ruling to UI SCEF procurement. The authority deemed that motion moot and denied reconsideration earlier this year. In May of this year, disappointed by the authority's rulings on the various motions, Verity filed the instant petition. In analyzing the petition, the authority looked to Connecticut General Statute section 4176, which governs the authority's review of declaratory ruling petitions. In analyzing the petition, the authority concluded that it failed to satisfy the prerequisites for seeking a declaratory ruling, because first and foremost, because the revised ruling that's the subject of the petition is not a final decision and thus does not qualify for a petition for declaratory ruling. In addition, as discussed previously, the authority finds that Verity's petition is moot. So setting aside the problematic nature of the request in a competitive procurement, the alternative relief sought by Verity is not available. Specifically, bid forms for the year two SCEF program were due to UI by July 14th of this year, and Verity was not among the bidders. Accordingly, the authority cannot grant the requested relief pending rendering the petition moot. So in summary, the authority finds that Verity has failed to identify a statute, regulation, or final decision. And further, the petition is deemed moot as the authority is unable to grant the requested relief. With that, I recommend today's final decision for the panel's consideration.
I move adoption, Madam Chairman.
Second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The decision is regularly moved and seconded. There are no questions or comments. I would ask Mr. Bumpin to please take the roll.
Chairman Gillette?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Karen?
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. We will next turn to the second item on today's regular calendar, docket number 210701, which is the application of the Connecticut Light and Power Company and Yankee Gas Services Company, each individually doing business as Eversource Energy, the United Illuminating Company, Connecticut Natural Gas Corporation, and the Southern Connecticut Gas Company, all seeking approval of the arrearage forgiveness program for 2021-2022. We have an interim decision in this matter for the panel's consideration. I will turn to Authority staff, Ms. Karima McDonald, to present the summary for the panel's consideration.
Thank you, Chair Gillette. Pursuant to Section 16-262C, subsection B, 5 of the General Statutes of Connecticut, the Connecticut Light and Power and Yankee Gas Services Company, each individually doing business as Eversource Energy, the United Illuminating Company, the Connecticut Natural Gas Corporation, and the Southern Connecticut Gas Company, collectively referred to as the companies in these decisions, are required to annually submit for the authority to approve their proposal for the Joint Arrearage Forgiveness Program Plan. The statute requires that the annual proposed arrearage forgiveness program include information concerning amortization agreements, counseling, reinstatements of eligibility, rate impacts, and any other information deemed relevant by the authority. In this interim decision, the authority approves the 2021 through to the 2022 arrearage forgiveness plan and associated compliance filings subject to the modifications discussed in the decision. The authority approves the components of the program that are not otherwise explicitly addressed in its analysis section and through the corresponding orders. The companies are directed to resubmit their 2021-2022 arrearage forgiveness plan, incorporating the modifications and additions no later than November 15th of this year. The authority held virtual hearings on this matter on August 5th and August 13th, solicited stakeholders' comments via request of written comments, and virtually held late filed exhibit hearing. As a result, the authority made key changes to the company's forgiveness plans in an effort to increase awareness and participation among eligible customers and ultimately lead customers' successful completion of the matching payment program. Going forward, the authority will primarily measure the program's success by assessing on an annual basis the percentage of eligible customers participating in the program and the percentage of participants who successfully completed the matching payment program. For the upcoming year, which begins November 1st, the companies will require the equivalent number of monthly payments that corresponds with the number of months remaining in phase 1. Phase 1 of the program is the period between November 1 through May 1st, instead of a payment equivalent to 3 monthly payments before May 1. In addition, the company shall accept partial payment amounts as the pay-as-you-can approach that enables customers to make smaller, more frequent payments to accommodate their budgets, as long as these partial payments equal to the total amount owed by the customer during phase 1. Given the uncertainty of the pandemic, should the Department of Social Services extend the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program application period beyond May 1st of 2022, the companies will allow the participants a grace period of until 2 weeks following this application deadline. Therefore, the companies may not begin the service disconnection process for customers who are enrolled in the matching payment program, missing a CAP award and required phase 1 payments until 2 weeks after this application deadline. Further, the companies are directed to include language that is appropriately tailored to customers describing their protections afforded to them by Connecticut General Statutes 16-262C, subsection B, 7B, including a reference to dispute resolution process through each of the company's review officer. The companies will do so in all matching payment plan mailed communications and other printed materials and on their respective websites. This was necessary because it was brought to the authority's attention during the discovery phase of this proceeding that customers are unaware of the dispute payment arrangement afforded to them pursuant to the statutes. Lastly, the authority directed the companies to modify their outreach and education plans to improve program participation and completion rates by implementing their first Heating Assistance Awareness Month starting November of this year. The goal of the Assistance Awareness Month is for the companies to creatively expand upon their traditional messaging and outreach strategies and to leverage their networks and partnerships statewide, including relationships with the state and municipal officials and other community partners. On August 12th, by notice of timeline and proceeding extension, the authority notified stakeholders of its intention to bifurcate this proceeding, given the multitude of topics raised in the docket. As a result, the authority intends to address relevant orders in the energy affordability and COVID dockets. Those are docket numbers 1712, REO 1, and 2003-15 and subsequent proceedings as a result of these dockets, and any other associated modifications to the company's existing arrearage forgiveness programs in phase 2 of this proceeding. With that, I recommend that the decision, the authority moves to approve the decision.
Thank you, Ms. McDonald. Is there a motion?
I move adoption, Madam Chairman.
Second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The item has been regularly moved and seconded. If there are no questions or comments, I would ask that we please take the roll.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pekoski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. The item has been adopted. We will next turn to our consent calendar. We have 5 items on today's consent calendar, so I'd seek a motion to adopt the consent calendar in full, please.
Madam Chairman, I would move adoption of today's consent calendar, items 1 through 5.
I'll second it.
Thank you. The consent calendar has been regularly moved and seconded. If there are no questions or comments, I would ask that we please take the roll.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pekoski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The consent calendar has been adopted in full. That brings us to the end of today's agenda for the regular meeting. We will adjourn and reconvene next Wednesday, October 20th at 10 a.m., also by remote teleconference for the next regular meeting. Thank you and have a great day.